If you're subscribed already, awesome, thank you, welcome back. If not, sucks, but I'm still gonna give you a little bit of a recap of what exactly is going on here. So this is part 4. In part 1, 2, and 3, my subscribers and myself build the entire thing together. Part 1 is going to be over there. Today it's going to be pretty interesting. Let's go. $275, 65, $275, 65, $275, 65, $275, 65, $275, 65. Guys, face mask and goggles, because that thing is not really good for you. Damn, my ear looks sexy in that mask. I love it. And make sure it's well ventilated, because let me tell you, the dust from the carbon fiber, if you guys haven't tried it yet, shit show. Okay, so we cut those little carbon fiber trays, and one thing I want to show you, obviously when we install these on the chassis, we can obviously draw a line here and actually install that and see exactly how straight it is and whatnot. But I just wanted to show you guys, having that little grid on my workbench is actually very, very helpful. You can just align your chassis with one of those lines, for example this red line right here, and then once you bring that carbon fiber tray, just to think about positioning here, you can actually align it with just another line, and you know that it's completely straight with the chassis. Another thing that I made sure is that I'm aligned in the front over here. Okay, so our carbon fiber chassis is 5mm and this is a 3mm carbon. We're going to use 10mm screws just so we have exactly 2mm left for our nuts. These nuts. Guys, one thing about Velcros, dual lock is definitely my favorite, but dual lock have an Achilles heel, and the Achilles heel is that at vertical it's actually very, very weak. So it's going to be super, super strong when you have a dual lock right and left, as in shifting on the car, but it's going to be very, very easy to just remove upwards. Now those combined with dual lock are not so stable right and left, but they're super, super tough to actually pull away from the battery. So what you're trying to do when you're installing it, you want your battery to have dual lock, and then you want your battery on the other side, before you actually glue it on the car, to have one side dual lock. That will actually stabilize the battery right, left, and shifting it. And one side of normal Velcro, that will actually ensure that the battery is not popping out. If you do it right, most crashes and most cases, the battery will stay on the car. You don't really even need straps. I'm trying to keep this build super, super clean without straps on lipos. A lot of you guys will not like it. A lot of you guys will think it's wrong, but it is what it is. That's what I'm going to do. And this is why I'm doing it this way, and I've been doing it on some other builds, and it works unbelievable. Okay, so batteries were installed. Quick tip, guys, you can use a little bit of dual lock on each side of those balancers, just so it sits nicely and there's no wires, you know, everywhere. We put the bridging plugs in both sides, and they're sitting on dual locks as well. So when we want to charge, if we're not charging 8S, if we do want to balance, we're going to actually have the ability to pull these out, connect other chargers. But for whatever it's worth, this is done. Wires are done for both sides, and ESC connectors and wires are done. We're going to do some wiring now. I already installed the receiver and the gyro. By the way, guys, receiver I'm using Futaba R2006GS. It's an aircraft receiver with a lot better reception. It comes with 2 antennas. I'm going to put a link in the description below. The gyro I'm using, in my opinion, best gyro in the world, Futaba GYC 441. You need to cut or sand or shave this tab, the plastic tab inside this receiver box, for both of them to sit leveled. You kind of have to. Switches we're going to do in a minute. They're going to have to wait for a minute. Now we're going to do wiring. We already rerouted the servo wire underneath everything with heat shrink, and it goes inside the receiver box. We're going to eliminate these 2 wires, and then I'm going to show you guys how to shorten your wires. Now guys, those wires, once and for all, a lot of people ask me that throughout the my videos about XLX and how to connect and what the wire is. Those wires for the ESC, or especially in the Castle Creations XLX1 and XLX2, those wires are if you're running an auxiliary feature, or if you're running a system or servo or something that takes more than 7 amp. The ESC, the Castle Creations XLX2, can provide 20 amps. So the BEC here is 20 amps. Most servos that you guys are using are about 4 amps, something like that. And if you're connecting external fans to your receiver, you should see the manufacturer's specs, but most of them are like an amp or 2. In the worst case scenario, most of the time it's about 0.3 amps or whatnot. So anyway, those wires are unneeded. Okay, so you see those little tabs here? Again, guys, if you're not using anything crazy on your system, you can completely eliminate that. It will make your build a little bit cleaner. So you're just going to press those tabs here and remove this wire with the white. This is the auxiliary wire. You don't need it. Even if you use Castle Link, you just don't need this wire. If you're using something that requires more than 7 amps and you want to power it with your receiver, sure, you want that one. In 99.9% of you guys use your fans straight from the batteries. If not, your fans, most of them will not take enough amperage to need this also. With Castle Link, you don't need this also. Remove this wire completely. You don't need it. Yes, I know that the Castle Creations manual say to connect that no matter what. They're just trying to eliminate the fact that you might not know that your equipment takes more than 7 amps. Remove. What I usually do is that I route my wires. Even if I'm going to put some looms or heat shrinks on top of these wires, I position them to about simulating how it's going to be. And then I understand about how much I need inside my receiver, so not too much, about here, and I cut them. So all these is unneeded, and pretty much we just saved all those wires in our build that are just unneeded. Alright, so this is what you want to buy online. This is the pressing tool for the servo connectors. I'm going to put a link in the description below so you guys don't have to look for it forever. And this is the kit. The kit pretty much comes with female, male, and connectors here, and sleeves, so you can bridge them up and do jumpers. But anyway, this is the kit. Again, I'm going to put a link in the description. And this is the tool. And now we're going to make servo connectors. Oh, finally, everything is done. This is exactly how I about envisioned it. Was trying to keep those as short as I could. And the circuit closing tabs here, they're all pretty much QS8 like I showed you before. All the wires are shortened. Both ESCs are calibrated. Motor directions are now set to work exactly like it should. Let's actually turn these two. Nice. So both of them are working. And car looks pretty smooth. By the way, that's what I told you guys about. You want to see that both steps are synced perfectly, just like so. So the compression, or magnetic compression rather, of both motors are happening at the same exact second. Well, shit. Guys, this will be it for part 4 of this build. Once again, if you guys are not subscribed, I highly recommend it. If you want to get some tips and tricks in everything regarding RC cars. Even though lately I've been doing planes, drones, RC boats, RC dildos, I don't know. Next part 5, or next episode rather, we're going to do the back real quick, front, then we're going to work on our body, and very important, setup. If we'll have time, we'll even drive it just to see, hopefully, I don't know, we'll see. I'm Shifrin. I really appreciate you guys. Like the video if you feel like I did a great job here. Subscribe if you feel like you want to see a lot more of that type of content. I really appreciate you guys. I wouldn't get here without you. Shifrin, over and out. Bye guys.